Captain Darren Hale gripped his rifle as something chittered in the canopy above. Vines as thick as his arm twisted down like curious serpents, and every patch of shadow seemed to move. His boots sank slightly in the damp moss covering the floor of Taros 9's equatorial rainforest. Each breath he took felt heavy, dense with moisture and spores. He hadn't planned on going this deep into the jungle, but the distress beacon was strong, pulsing from the wreckage of a small craft that had crash-landed just over 2 clicks from his forward base. Recon had said it was a rogue vessel, unregistered, fast, and possibly hostile. Command thought it might be a smuggler, or worse, a Ketheri scout. Hale didn't expect survivors. He was wrong. He found her sprawled across a gnarled root system, her body twisted awkwardly, one leg visibly broken. Silver blood stained the moss around her, glinting like mercury in his flashlight. She wasn't human. Her skin was pale violet, covered in delicate lines that shimmered when he moved the beam across her. A crown of fine, fleshy tendrils curled around her scalp like a living headdress, and her eyes, huge, golden, slitted, snapped open the moment he approached. "Wait," he said quickly, raising one hand. "I'm not here to hurt you." She tried to speak but coughed, her body racked with pain. He crouched beside her, examining the wound. Definitely Ketheri physiology. Not that he'd seen one this close before. Most humans didn't. The Ketheri Empire had been isolationist for over 50 years, yet stories about them filled the dossiers of every military unit across the outer colonies. "I need to splint your leg," he said. "You won't make it out of here unless I help you." She stared at him with mistrust, but finally with a faint nod she allowed it. Back at the outpost, things were no less strange. He kept her in a sealed medbay, alerting no one but the base's AI medic, which scanned her and stabilized her condition. She didn't speak much for the first 2 days. Just watched him. Watched everything. On the 3rd day she said her name. Sayari. Her voice was musical, accent strange, but her standard galactic was flawless. "Where are you from?" Hale asked. "Farther than you could imagine. But you would call it Ketheri Prime." He froze. "Wait. You're one of them." Her gaze didn't waver. "I am Ketheri. I did not intend to land here. My ship was shot down." "Shot down by us." "No," she said slowly. "By one of my own. That wasn't right. The Ketheri didn't attack their own. And they never let royalty leave the throne world." And then she said something that made Hale's blood turn to ice. "I am Sayari Vorik Stal, heiress to the Ketheri Dominion." He blinked, as if trying to reset his brain. "Come again. Was next in line to the throne. Until I fled." That explained the ship's tech. Advanced beyond anything he'd seen. It explained the biometric locks, the living hull, the stealth field. It explained the bounty currently circulating across the outer colonies. A female of Ketheri descent. Dangerous. Do not engage. Notify command immediately. He hadn't reported her. Not yet. In the following days, Hale learned more than any human intelligence officer ever had about the Ketheri. Sayari told him about the brutal traditions of her kind, the way leaders were chosen not by wisdom or public will, but by genetic trials and psychic dominance. The throne was passed through force, literal mental domination, where the strongest mind survived, and the rest became bound vassals. "I did not want to become my mother," Sayari whispered one night, gazing at the jungle beyond the reinforced window. "She is a tyrant. She would have turned me into one too. So you ran." "I stole a prototype." Flipped away. "But someone followed. Someone loyal to her. They destroyed my ship, and I barely escaped." Why Taros 9? I didn't choose this world. It was the nearest habitable gravity well. He wanted to ask why she trusted him, a human soldier and enemy species, but didn't. Maybe she was just desperate. But over time, trust began to grow. He brought her native fruits to taste. She explained how some of them reacted to Ketheri biochemistry, how the sap of the purple root tree could actually accelerate bone knitting in her kind. He built a makeshift jungle garden in the outpost's courtyard. She taught him Ketheri meditation techniques. They didn't speak of war, or the line in the sand between their peoples. Not until Command finally sent the message. Recon drone detected a downed Ketheri vessel. Proceed to the wreck site. If you find a survivor, secure and detain. They didn't know he'd already found her, or that he'd hidden her from the scanners. You have to leave, he told her that night, packing a rucksack with jungle gear. I'm not healed. You'll have to be. They're coming. If they find you, I can't stop them. Not all of them. I can't outrun them, she said. But I can't go back either. Then we disappear. She looked at him, a flicker of something unreadable in her expression. You'd give up your career. For me. You're not just a mission anymore, Sayari. She stepped close, her tendrils brushing his cheek gently. Then let's vanish. For 10 days they lived in the green heart of the jungle. Hale knew every terrain trick from his survival training, and Sayari's psionic senses warned them of patrols before they came too close. They slept in camo hammocks, bathed in clear pools, and cooked over biothermal stones. As the days passed, she laughed more. She began to heal. And for the first time, Hale realized he wasn't just protecting a fugitive. He was falling for her. The moment everything changed was sudden, brutal, and soaked in firelight. The Ketheri hunter found them just before dawn. A gleaming obsidian suit, cloaked in a haze of light-bending energy. Hale heard the pulse blast before he saw the figure. He shoved Sayari behind a tree and returned fire. The jungle lit up with plasma bursts. The Ketheri warrior was stronger, faster. But Hale was stubborn and lucky. One of his shots ricocheted off a tree and struck the hunter's shoulder. The armor cracked. Then Sayari stepped forward. Her eyes glowed. Her tendrils stiffened like a crown of spears. The jungle itself seemed to still. You defy me, the hunter snarled, voice laced with psionic venom. I defy her, Sayari hissed. And her servants. She raised her hand. The hunter staggered as if struck by invisible force. You do not control me. I am no longer yours. With a final cry, the hunter collapsed. Smoke curled from the shattered armor. Hale rushed to Sayari's side. She trembled, her energy spent. We need to keep moving. No, she whispered. I'm done running. They returned to the wreck site. Using Sayari's genetic codes, they reactivated the ship's distress override, sending a message not to the Ketheri throne, but to the resistance. She explained there were factions, even among her people, who wanted peace. Who wanted an end to mind domination and tyrannical inheritance. One of them had been her ally. One of them would come. And they did. A stealth cruiser, more like a living being than a machine, emerged from orbit 2 days later. Hale stood with Sayari at the edge of the clearing, watching as a ramp descended. I want you to come with me, she said softly. He hesitated. I'm just a soldier. You're more than that. You saw me, really saw me. Not as a threat. Not as a trophy. But as a person.